And we've just discovered this nice little patch here of ramps, and ramps are becoming somewhat endangered nowadays because they're being over harvested. So I'm not going to be greedy. I'm only going to take one or two here and there. Now ordinarily I would just take the leaves because I don't like to pull the bulbs up. However, we've got several large patches, so we won't be doing too much harm by digging a few of the bulbs. Alright, so I'm going to just dig down, try not to squish any ramps while I'm doing it, and see what we can come up with here. Okay, there's a nice ramp bulb there, and I've already picked a few, so we have some to be getting on with. And I broke this leaf off so as not to waste it. I take it with me, and the same with this one. I don't like to waste anything. I don't like to over harvest anything because I want to be coming back to years and years to harvest these ramps. Now I don't know whether you can see this, but this is last year's flower. Now that's a good sign. There's a few of them like that because that will have dropped seeds all over the ground here, which means that more young ramps will be coming back this year and next year.
So we have our ramps. What we're going to make with them, I thought, is just a simple wilted ramp salad. What I'm doing to prepare them is I'm taking the ramps, which are absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to cut off like a scallion, like you would a scallion, the ends. What I like to do is line them up, take my chef's knife and shore them up, and then just cut off the bottoms. Then I cut where the leaves are, and then I cut the bulbs away. So now I have basically 3 components. And we're going to make a warm dressing out of the root end and of the leaves. This is going to be our salad. It's going to be the wilted part. What I'm also going to add to the salad are trout lily leaves, which I'm not going to do anything to because they're just scrumptious all by themselves being raw. And it's going to give a nice contrast to the wilted greens. So I'm going to just chop up this is the part of the stem that connects to the bulb. I'm just going to chop that up because that has good flavor and a texture. The smell is just wonderful. And then I'm going to also chop up my bulbs. That's about a good consistency. So we're going to put together the components of our dressing, which is apple cider vinegar. I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup. Some Dijon mustard. Got a teaspoon. Some honey. A little more than 2 tablespoons. Mix that up. And we're going to add some olive oil. It's about a 1/2 cup. Whisk it the best you can. It doesn't need to be emulsified, but just want to whisk it so that you can taste it to see if it needs more acid or if it needs more sweetness. So we're going to start the dressing by, we mixed it all up. We're going to take a little bit of the dressing from the top because it's not yet emulsified, so the oil is still sitting at the top. So I'm going to add some of that to my pan. And it already has some of the flavor of the dressing in it, so it's nice. Nice oil to work with. coat the bottom of your pan. And to that, I'm going to add our chopped bulbs, stem of the ramp, and an onion. I only have about a quarter, maybe a little more than 2 tablespoons of onion. I'm going to add that in as well. So all we want to do with this mixture is we want to get it soft. You don't want to caramelize it, you just want to get it soft where the onion is translucent and everything is nice and married, the flavors marry together. Smell those ramps, they're amazing. So while our ramp bottoms are sauteing, I'm going to give the ramp tops a chop. Just bite-sized pieces. And we'll add these to our salad bowl. We might have a few stems in there, that's all right. Most of them are going to be sauteed. So we have our ramp bulb mixture all nice and translucent. And I'm going to add the rest of the sauce that we prepared, or the dressing that I prepared. I'm just going to let this boil away for a little bit. So you'll see that the dressing is going to bubble up and become foam-like or foamy. That's okay. It's just actually getting nice and thick, which is nice. The honey is helping it all come together. And I have some tart cherries, which I think pair really nicely with the ramps. So I'm going to throw some of them in just to plump them up a bit. And once it becomes foamy like this, you can actually turn off the heat and just let it simmer until it stops bubbling. And that's when you can pour it onto your greens. So we've just pulled our dressing from the stove. It's still very hot. And I'm just going to spoon it over. I don't think we'll need all the dressing. We just want to spoon a lot over. You want to make sure you get all the good stuff at the bottom, the cherries, or whatever fruit you decide to put in. If you want to put fruit in, you don't have to. This is one of those salads that's whatever you have in your fridge, throw it in. But I think sweetness with the pungency of the ramp is a really nice pairing for a salad. We'll see if that's enough. Take your tongs and mix it all. It's plenty of dressing. Enough to coat them and still have... See how they're wilting? Just like spinach would, but this has got better flavor. Now, to this, you can garnish however you like. Today I'm going to use, in addition to the cherries, I have some toasted walnuts. For crunch. Our trout lily leaves that I'm actually going to leave whole on top. We'll save a few for garnish. And I'm also going to add a little bit of manchego cheese. Goat cheese would go very well. Or no cheese. It's all to your preference. Mix those all together. more trout lilies on top, trout lily leaves. Flowers would be nice as a garnish too. But instead we have lovely spring beauty, woodland violets, and speedwell flowers. I think edible flowers just are the crowning touch to any dish. And these little speedwell flowers are just so dainty and little. Basically sprinkle them on like you would, actually that's what I'm going to do, sprinkle them on like you would sesame seeds. They're that tiny.
Mmm. Mmm.
Right?
Oh yeah. This is the kind of thing you can just experiment with and find all different ways of preparing it.
Mm.
But this is good.
Keeper.
We've been pretty fortunate in these recipes we've been experimenting with. I mean, this is all trial and error, and so far we haven't had much error.
I must say, as a forager, I'm eating very well.
Yes, aren't we just? Cheers.
Cheers.